Your focus is sacred. Time to commit to what matters most. On Saturday, November 15th, Vesta enters Capricorn, and it's going to be in Capricorn for about 2 months until January 10th. This is about coming home and creating structure. That is the goal. Looking around and being able to be quite practical, getting things in order, etc. So let me read you the description so that you can have a bit of an understanding of what the kind of energy this aspect is bringing into our lives. It says, it's time to build a life we can be proud of. This transit will instill a sense of responsibility and structure, motivating us to tackle challenges and achieve our goals with style. I love the energy. Let's roll the dice and see what is coming through for us for the numbered shuffle. A 4 and a 5, that is a 9 energy. There you go. Close. In this case, this feels like change for structure, change for stability, changing things so that they are more protected even. And with a 9 shuffle, you know, sometimes we get a 9 and we've been being quite resilient, let's say for a while. We've made it to a certain place in our lives or on our journey or in a certain area of life. And it's just time to restructure. As the blurb said, it's time to build a life we can be proud of. So whatever needs to be restructured over the next couple of months, you're probably going to see that highlighted for you. So let's give the cards a shuffle and then we'll see what they have to provide for us for guidance. Okay, so as I was shuffling, they kept saying this is not going to be without some doing or without some work, or, you know, you may have these challenges pop up, not without challenge. So that's something to keep in mind as we read and see what comes up here for us for guidance. It is a little chunk of time. So it may not be the easiest thing in the world to get certain new foundations in place or new structures in place, but nevertheless, I think it's going to be worth it. Worth it. All right, let's see what the cards have to say. Okay, we have the Nourish the Shadow card, and this is card number 33. There you go. There it is up close. Nourish the Shadow. Thirsty for something. It feels like in this particular card, you can see that there is a drought almost that has been going on. Also, the fact that we're nourishing our shadow selves just about out of Scorpio season is important. I think that there's going to be some information and insights. They're saying that we're primed for it, that we understand or have understood over the past several weeks what it is that our shadow self is yearning for, let's say. And so nourishing the shadow with Vesta and Capricorn is really wanting us to give to ourselves what it is that we feel like we've been lacking, or what we've been, thirsty for is how they want me to say it, or what you know it is that you've been missing. So if you've noticed parts of yourself that have been trying to speak up and say to you, this doesn't work for me, or this isn't structured right for me, or this, the way that you're doing this isn't actually serving me anymore. It's not supporting me in the way that I need to be supported. This energy is really going to help you get new structures in place in order to be able to nourish those parts of yourself that maybe haven't been heard for a while. And I remember we were talking about this in one of the previous aspects very recently, being able to look at those pieces and parts of yourself that maybe you haven't looked at for a while, you haven't been in touch with for a while. The Jupiter in retrograde, I believe, retrograding in Cancer. So that aspect is a longer term aspect, and it's lining up perfectly pretty much with this Vesta in Capricorn in order to be able to understand those pieces of yourself that were perhaps in the shadow, that were lacking or were thirsty or were needing some more nourishment, and be able to give it to them now. So they're telling us to literally nourish those parts of yourself that you haven't paid attention to for a while, that have been raising their hand, that are asking for nourishment. Don't ignore them anymore. This particular energy is very grounding. It has to do with your home and nurturing, your spaces and places that you exist in on the physical plane, plus it's in Capricorn. So being able to do the work if necessary to structure things differently for yourself so you feel all parts of yourself are being nurtured, even the ones that maybe you tend to push aside or deem as less important. Those parts are wanting to be heard and given to. They need to receive with this energy. So it's going to be really important for us to listen to them. So if you've been ignoring your shadow, Spirit is basically saying, like, with this particular aspect over the next couple of months, please do not ignore your shadow anymore. It needs to be nourished. Let's give it what it needs. Let's see what we have for the tarot. Ooh, the High Priestess coming here. There it is up close for you. The High Priestess is a major arcana card that is the intuitive. Okay, so she's seeing beyond the veil. She is looking into the shadow. I have a feeling with the fact that they're giving us this card here with this coupling, it's going to be really hard to miss those shadow points. Even if you want to push them behind, the veil again or behind the curtain, it doesn't matter, is what Spirit is saying, which is kind of telling. The High Priestess can see beyond. She doesn't have the veil, she sees beyond the veil. The veil is thin, right? When you hear people say, oh, the veil is very thin right now. Her veil is not there. She doesn't have a veil. She can see beyond the curtain, behind the curtain. She sees the unseen. She knows the unknown, right? It's like that intuitive part of yourself that is flagging you over and over again and telling you, hey, this is true, and you know it. That's what we're being guided to pay attention to with the High Priestess. That knowing inside of you that says, this part of me needs a little bit of my love and attention. It's not doing well with this structure that I have in place. It's not doing well with the things that I do or the schedule that I keep or the way that I have things situated. Okay, it needs something else. It needs something more. It needs to be nourished in a different way. Your intuition is going to be able to tell you exactly what that is if you are listening. So it's going to be very important for us to trust our knowing, to trust our intuition, and to dive into the shadow. You're going to be able to see it. For them to put these two cards together, it tells me that even if you don't want to acknowledge those shadow parts, they're going to be prevalent and you're going to be able to view them, able to see them. It's like having a mirror held up to you. And maybe something was covering the mirror, right? Like if you have a veil on, you can't see it. This is like removing the veil and being able to see the shadow parts that need to be nourished, right? Nourish your shadow. It's going to serve you so well to do that. And this is doing that in a very physical way. So it's not just thinking about it and acknowledging it. It's actually setting things up differently. So you will take action to be able to give those pieces what they need in order for you to feel more whole, which is lovely. Okay. Love this guidance. If you want more insight aligned with this particular energy, I suggest the Examine Your Career, if that's where this is popping up for you, personal reading that I have, where I take a look into the energy surrounding your work life and the questions that you have around that. So this could be restructuring your work life in order to give better to yourself. If that's you, check out that personal reading. And also the 1111 portaled pick a card that I do have will give you more clarity on what's coming into alignment for you, especially during this month that is intended for November, basically, and through the end of November, and how you can act on what is showing up for you and coming into alignment for you. I'll leave the links below, of course. You can visit the Intuitive Astrology playlist for more astro guidance that's going to be coming up next. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.